If some clever believer of the officialities of 9/11 could explain to us why the NIST and BBC report wrong informations about the 3 men trapped on the 8th floor of WTC 7 around 10 o'clock. The final report of the NIST, then CSTR 129, says on page 398, quote, "When they got to the 6th floor, WTC 1 collapsed, the light went off in the staircase, the sprinklers came on briefly, and the staircase filled with smoke and dust," unquote. This is absolutely wrong. In the video NIST FOIA_release number 25, 42A0120, G25D31, video number 1 WTC1 collapse, 10_28 amp that starts around 10 o'clock. This fireman gives precious information. Around 10:18, listen.
We had a report of a fireman trapped over here on the northwest corner, so I want to make sure that we got people over there to help dig him out. Sure, no problem. Don't want to trip over me.
That means that the 3 men were unable to get down below the 6th floor before the WTC1 had collapsed. After interviewing the fireman, the reporter goes close to the main plaza and records the WTC1 standing at 10:25. Then later, he is trapped in a cloud of concrete powder just after WTC1 fell down at 10:28. But why did the NIST and the BBC report some false facts? To understand why, listen to the interviews of Mr. Barry Jennings, Mr. Michael Hess and the window washer.
Moment of impact.
Well, me and Mr. Hess, the corporation counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hess. I said, "This is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here." I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. And we're going down the stairs. When we reached the 6th floor, the landing that we were standing on gave way. There was an explosion, and the landing gave way. And I was left there hanging. I had to climb back up, and now I had to walk back up to the 8th floor. After getting to the 8th floor, everything was dark. It was dark, and it was very, very hot. Very hot. I asked Mr. Hess to test the phones as I took a fire extinguisher and broke out the windows.
Corporation Counsel, Mr. Hess, you were trapped in, I believe, 7 World Trade Center. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was. I was up in the Emergency Management Center on the 23rd floor, and when all the power went out in the building, another gentleman and I walked down to the 8th floor where there was an explosion, and we've been trapped on the 8th floor with smoke, thick smoke all around.
The whole building was shaking. And then the last thing was the stairway ran into a wall. All of a sudden, as you were going down on the 6th floor, you hit a wall. So there I am, and I'm saying, what the heck is happening? And I said to Barry, while it's shaking, we just stood there, and after, I don't know, it was 5 seconds or 10 seconds, but the building stopped shaking. And in my mind, I assumed there had been an explosion in the basement.
He was there and he was crying, and there was another gentleman crying and for help. We couldn't get to him. We tried to get through we went through the buildings. We were lost. Both staircases, the backside was completely blown away. There was no way to access us. We couldn't get to him. And finally, one of the fire department teams found him.
They tell us that, contrary to what is written in the NIST report, they were all 3 together with the black window washer, trapped on the 8th floor, because there was no means to go below the 6th floor, as the staircase was blocked or destroyed. Also that they heard several sounds of explosions, even if in the latest interview, Mr. Hess changed his mind, saying, no explosion, strong shaking, and strong wind. My idea is that the NIST wanted to avoid digging in this dangerous direction, and synchronizes the fall of WTC1, which is the second building to collapse, with what they experienced in WTC7. But as I demonstrated, Tour 1 fell at least 15 minutes after they asked for help to the firemen. Let's take a closer look at what they report about the state of the staircase on the 6th floor. None of them were very familiar with the building and its surprising staircases. This lack of knowledge could also explain some error in their floor-level estimation. And if you look at the plan of Building 7, there is an odd thing on the 5th floor. The staircase stops, and a corridor leads horizontally to the last length of staircases, down to the exit. This means that if you rush down around the stairs, and follow this movement, you will exactly run into a wall on the 5th floor. Depending on the signalization, the thickness of the smoke, and the nervous state of the actors, this could have led them to climb back on the 8th floor. Mr. Jennings tends to say that the staircase was destroyed, but the employee tends to confirm Mr. Hiss's testimony that both staircases were blocked or walled. The smoke could have hid signs indicating the way through the corridor leading to the last length of staircases, and none of the three men knew the singularities of the plan of WTC 7. These are the facts. Like the fact that NIST and BBC report wrong informations, who make everybody more suspicious. I have the proof that Tour 1 fell down 15 minutes after the three men were trapped on the 8th floor, but I don't have any proof of destruction inside Building 7, prior to WTC 1 collapse. Remains to explain the big noises and shaking that all three reported, without using the event of WTC 1 fall, but only the three noisy previous events, Plane 1, Plane 2, Tour 2, could perhaps do the job. But I just found this video showing Mr. Hiss walking in front of the two tours burning, so only remains the collapse of Tour 2, to explain what they heard before asking for help to the firemen, as they were trapped on the 8th floor. That is all, folks, but I still would like the ONU Independent Commission to clarify that file, one for all.